Very good. So I'd like to begin today by welcoming all of you to this particular webinar. We are going to be discussing the Master's Certificate program in Sanskritam and the Master's degree in Sanskritam. Both are offered by Hindu University of America in partnership with the MIT School of Vedic Sciences. So MIT stands for Maharashtra Institute of Technology. It's based in Pune. And the School of Vedic Sciences, SVS, is called the Maharishi Veda-Vyasa School of Vedic Sciences. Okay, so we have two people from that institution right now. They are Dr. Sai Susarla from Pune, and Dr. Vaishnavi Rao Nishankar from, I believe she's from Mumbai. So I'd like to begin by having both of them introduce themselves very briefly. Then I'll say a few words and I'll turn the webinar over to Dr. Sai Susarla and Dr. Vaishnavi Nishankar. So over to you, Dr. Sai Susarla, for a very brief introduction.
Namaste. So, how do I introduce myself? So, I am the Dean of this Maharishi Veda-Vyasa School, MIT School of Vedic Sciences in Pune. My background is in software. I lived in the US for 13 years. Has been a Samskrit Bharati Karyakarta since 2000. And my passion for Sanskrit was too much so I basically quit my regular mainstream software job and started what I call as this Shastra education, how to disseminate Shastra education and how to excite professionals about Indic knowledge, professionals like you about Indic knowledge. And Sanskritam is my second this thing, so it's like very close to my heart. And our entire family speaks in Sanskritam, including our daughter, since she was 3-year-old. So the question is basically what to do next after learning Sanskritam, speaking Sanskritam. So that question was in my mind for a long time. And here is an opportunity that we have created for people like me. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful, very good, Dr. Sai. Vaishnavi ji, your turn, please.
Namaste. My name is Vaishnavi Nishankar. I'm working as the academic coordinator in MIT School of Vedic Sciences for the past 3 years since its inception. And I have more than about 10 years of academic background in Sanskrit. And I have always somehow been associated with a dissemination of Shastras and Sanskrit in various capacities wherever I have worked at various levels, and I'm just loving it the way we are doing it at MIT here. And I'm a remote, just as our courses are remote, it's very it's working very well that I work remotely for MIT School of Vedic Sciences. And we are seeing that there is more and more opportunity for us to contemporize Shastras and to bring into to the world in a very useful way, both for the Sanskrit world as well as for the world that can use the knowledge in the Shastras that's available to them. And it's been a great learning process for me, coming from an academic background. Seeing the way we are able to look at the applications of Sanskrit, it's a real great, learning that's happening. So yeah, I'm very glad to be associated with HUA also in this regard. Thank you.
Wonderful, very good. So I'm going to say a few words to kick this off. And Dr. Sai, I hope you have your slides ready in the meantime. Okay.
Yes.
Now, see, what we are doing here is we're going to introduce you to the master's level Sanskritam program. Master's level Sanskrit, which is by definition an advanced level of Sanskrit. And it is offered in partnership with MIT by HUA. And the way we are managing this right now is that the students from India will locally register through the MIT School of Vedic Sciences, whereas students internationally will register via the Hindu University of America. Now, the curriculum is designed in such a way that at the end of the process, you can earn a master's degree, a complete master's degree, which is authorized and accredited by the University Grants Commission of India, delivered through the MIT, Maharashtra Institute of Technology, School of Vedic Sciences. However, there are some constraints in doing that. You'll have to go to India to take the exams as per the UGC rules. However, you can also get a degree, a master's certificate, a level 1 master's certificate, a level 2 master's certificate, and then even a master's degree from Hindu University of America, for which you can take the exams online, remotely, right from wherever you are, in the US or Europe or Australia or wherever. Okay. So with that very brief introduction, I'd like to turn it over to Sai. And we want to keep it interactive. So please, the way to interact is to type in your question. Please type in your question in the chat window, and I will tee it up for Sai, Dr. Sai and Dr. Vaishnavi to respond to. Okay. Thank you very much. And over to you, Dr. Sai Susala.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Please.
Oops. I hope you're able to see this.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, just a quick brief introduction to what our School of MIT Maharashtra Institute of Technology School of Vedic Sciences does. Our objective is to introduce Vedic wisdom into mainstream mainstream education in universities, and ours is a state private university in the government of Maharashtra.
Hello, hi everyone.
Yeah.
Please go on mute, everybody.
And we offer 3 streams of programs. So Vedic sciences, by Vedic sciences, we mean Bharatiya Shastras. Shastra is basically the equivalent of what we normally call as systematic study or science. And they are by Vedic because they are derived from the original knowledge embedded in the Vedas. And they are kind of Veda Aviruddha, Veda Anuyayi, and Veda Anukari. Okay, three things. So Shastric, so many Shastras have been developed in India over ages, on all the way from the the nature of self all the way to how to make pan. Okay, so what type of tambula is also, there is a Shastra for making tambula. Okay, so that's the level of breadth we have. And we picked up psychology as an area of modern application, but with lots and lots of input from the Vedic knowledge. And we have a BSc program and a PhD program right now. And we have a separate thing called postgraduate programs in Vedic sciences, which is a completely designed from ground up to teach people how to study Shastras by themselves, not teaching individual subjects like in a text-based course, but the structure and methodology of Indian knowledge systems. And then we have a PhD program on that. Now, the third program, which we have launched last year, this is the second batch that is going to start, is the MA Samskrit program. So this MA program is meant to be in Sanskrit medium for professionals who, of course, India has a lot of universities. Almost every university offers its own MA Sanskrit program, and they are bulk of them are on on campus. Very few provide distance mode, and even among those who provide distance mode, the difficulty is in the teaching. There's very little teaching that happens, and it is people are left to fend for themselves and all that. So a lot of executional issues, but also majority of them do not offer the program in Sanskrit medium, which we feel is very important. To really call yourself a master in Sanskrit, if you cannot speak in Sanskrit or handle yourself in the language, that severely handicaps the proficiency. So that's why so we have formulated this program especially for those who have been introduced to Sanskrit as part of their spiritual pursuits or as part of Sanskrit Bharati, those kinds of programs, and they want to go deeper. Okay, so that is the kind of people who want to study, who want to enter into the and explore Indian knowledge embedded in Sanskrit for the sake of knowledge, not for the sake of earning a livelihood. So that is the kind of student population we are targeting. Okay, so designed for meritorious seekers of Indic knowledge, and since the entire program is in Sanskrit medium, we require people to have comfort in listening comprehension, reading comprehension, and a basic level of writing, very simple Vyavaharika conversational level of Sanskrit, which is essential for our program. So for that, to screen that, we have created a Sanskrit language proficiency test online, which lasts for about, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours, which you can take anytime. And based on the score, if you score at least 70% of that, 70% in that test, then you're eligible for entering the Sanskrit MA Sanskrit program. And our faculty are the best people to teach a particular, one of the best in each subject. We choose among the scholars in India, wherever, to be able to who are passionate about their subject and who are looking for serious seekers of that. So it's like best students connected with the best teachers in the most convenient way. So that is how we put our program together. And all of our courses, the teaching, learning, assignments, everything happens online through a LMS platform, e-learning platform. And the syllabus is university grade, which means we take, I'll talk about what are the flavors of master's syllabus available and where we stand in the spectrum. It's university grade, which means that this program is equivalent to in its level of rigor to any other university program anywhere, but focusing on the specific needs of the Sanskrit lovers. Okay, so that is what we have. And as such, it is more concept oriented and not text oriented to the extent we can do it. And keeping in view the focus, the inclination of typical modern day professionals who are trained in some science or the other as part of their upbringing. So they're naturally drawn towards what is scientific about Indian knowledge, so what is the scientific aspect of things, and so we keep that in mind. And and then we will we'll talk about what are those sciences, etc. And through this program, what we are trying to do is actually create the next generation of authentic exponents of Indic knowledge. So we want every one of our students to actually start teaching or disseminating pickings on the favorite subject of theirs in their nearby community, or even teach in other places, because we know that professionals who are with passion can do a much better job of communication in exciting others, and so build a healthy ecosystem of learning and spread the knowledge. That's our goal here. Okay, so that's why we the entire program is designed in that kind of a model. And okay, so I think this one I can skip, it will be confusing. Okay, all right. So these are the designers of our program. Professor Srinivasa Varkhedi is a Vice Chancellor and a President's Awardee with and a Naya Shastra expert and a very dynamic leader in the Sanskrit fraternity in India. And he's currently the Vice Chancellor of a very famous Sanskrit University near Nagpur. And Vaishnavi Nishankar is with us. Professor Nagaraj Paturi, he's a well-respected scholar in the spirit of Indian knowledge. That is his specialty. And he is the one who has single-handedly designed our Vedic sciences stream to be completely giving a focus of intellectual inquiry, how it is, how some of the not only the output of India, but the method, how the producers of those shastras thought. Okay, which is very important to get to the essence of it. So that is the focus which he brings a lot. And he is one of the designers of this program also. And Professor Vinod Vidvans is a renowned computational music expert and a Natya Shastra expert, and a professor in Flame University, one of the liberal art education university in Pune. Okay. So overall, we have basically, if you look for any MA Sanskrit option, there are several flavors you get in India. We have what is called General MA, which is meant for those who do not have a BA in Sanskrit, Bachelor of Arts in Sanskrit. This is like a quick primer for those who are not familiar with this world of academic Sanskrit situations, right? So General MA is for those who do not have a formal bachelor's degree in Sanskrit but want to enter into that. Okay, and it is it focuses on the language, depth of the language itself, and the literature, the poetic literature, aesthetic literature embedded in the Sanskrit language. And predominant focus is, as of now, typically on how to translate Sanskrit texts for the benefit of those who want to explore them. That has been the typical flavor that they have focused on. Most Sanskrit universities have these kind of programs. There are also specialized MA. Specialized MA is where I want to do an MA in Sanskrit specializing in Jyotisha. Okay, I want to do MA in Sanskrit specializing in Vedanta. Okay, there some minimum number of courses or subjects need to be done in a particular field of inquiry available in the Sanskrit knowledge base. And for that, the prerequisite typically is you have to have a bachelor's in Sanskrit. That is what has actually happened. So several universities in India, like Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan, one of the apex bodies for Sanskrit education, they offer these specialized MA. There are also others also. But now, of course, there are also MA programs in Sanskrit in foreign universities in the US and other places. But typically, they are meant for those who do not have an exposure to an Indian language in their upbringing or in their normal process. So the rigor of the program is typically, they're mostly translation based. They're more interested in the studying texts in some English translation or some other translation of it to get to the knowledge as opposed to its original form. Okay. And there are a couple of such programs. I think UT Austin provides one such program. Berkeley provides another, etc. And naturally, it's an outsider's perspective typically, and it has its issues. Okay, so in this flavor, in this spectrum, we opted for the general MA category, which gives the reader or the learner a good in-depth exposure to the entire what we call um, menu choice of the knowledge areas that are available if you want to study Indian knowledge from Sanskrit medium, available in Sanskrit medium basically. And then give some basic meta skills to be able to navigate through that system. First, of course, Sanskrit, then Sanskrit as a language, then some concepts like, fundamental aspects of how knowledge is perceived in India, in the Indian system, the Naya, the logic, Indic science of text interpretation called mimamsa, and of course, Vyakarana is the grammar. So, these are the three fundamental sciences accepted in the Indian tradition called Pada, Vakya, Pramana Shastras. Our MA program will introduce you to all of the three, whereas typically in a general MA, the Nyaya and Mimamsa, the logic and the interpretation aspects are typically not touched upon. Especially Mimamsa is usually not part of in many MA programs. So we offer that. That's one of the unique aspects of our program. And now here is the overview of the subject matter of our MA degree. As I mentioned before, the entry criterion is the proficiency in Sanskrit language, conversational ability to handle yourself in Sanskrit, either in terms of listening, mostly in listening comprehension, and some amount of writing in Sanskrit, which will be honed through the program, of course. That's the thing. Okay, so with that background, so that we have some of mandatory subjects. We introduce the Veda stream, what we call as the Veda stream, which introduces the thought process of the Vedas, the structure of the Vedic texts, Veda texts, Vedic, not Vedic texts, and one course each on the various Rig, Yajus, Sama, and Atharva Vedas, in-depth exposure to each of those to be able to of course you will not be doing Veda Dhyena, that's a totally different thing. Here we will be talking, giving you a the structure and content overview of what is actually discussed in the Vedas. That is what we'll be focusing on here. We will not be teaching how to chant Vedas. That's not the purpose. That's a totally different thing. Okay. Then comes an in-depth exposure to Vyakarana, the Sanskrit grammar. And not only the various structures like, sandhis, samasas, etc., but how Panini, one of the greatest grammarians, has put it together, codified the prevailing understanding of Sanskrit language into a grammar that has employed some of the best principles of linguistics accepted even today. Okay, so we will give you a first-hand appreciation of that. That is Panini Vyakaranam. 4 levels, one course in each of the 4 semesters. And then comes the Sahitya stream, which is the poetics, the prose, the natakas, the drama, different flavors of aesthetic literature of Sanskrit. And the scientific aspects, the Naya Vaisheshika model of the universe, mimamsa, one of the unique aspects of our course curriculum, and a very extremely unique, which nowhere to be found, is what we call as Vedic science foundations, which gives you almost like a route map of how to navigate, how to start understanding how to get into the mind of the scientists, shastrakaras. What is the structure of a shastra? How is the discourse organized? So that you can read shastra text directly by yourself and make sense of it, which is actually not possible without this kind of a orientation. So this is a unique program, unique course that is offered only by us. And then we offer some elective subjects for those who want to get a feel for some of the popular what we call as applied sciences, but basically the yoga, Ayurveda, Jyotisha, and Vedanta. Those are the streams we offer as of now, and they are offered in two levels. Basic level, which introduces the most fundamental texts of those disciplines like Yoga Sutras, Ayurveda, some understanding of the functional classification of health and things like that. Jyotisha texts, and then of course Vedanta, we will talk about the overview. And all these courses will be offered purely in Sanskrit medium only. Okay, that is one very important thing. And now this degree is a very packed program. It will take two full-time effort of, let's say, at least 24 hours per week if you've done in 2 years. But we offer this program in a spread out mode as well, wherein it can be extended into double the time, that by halving your amount of time you spend per week. So there will be 6 hours of classwork classes, lectures in a week, and of course, if you take all the 4, and then we will always run only 2 courses at a time, so that you will be you finish 2 courses, and then into one half of the semester you take another 2 courses in the second half, and you have basically 4 courses in each semester at the most in the full load. And then if you want, you can take only 2 courses a semester. That way you spread it out over 4 years. Okay, so that is the mode. That's what we call as the part-time mode, half-time mode. Okay. Now, and then we will top it off with a term project, where you will be made to study the a particular text, and actually test whether you are now become a real master of actually doing swimming in the ocean of Sanskrit by yourself. Okay, so that is what we will offer in this term project in the last semester. Okay, now any questions? Shall I take some questions now?
Yeah, Sai, there is a question on what are the prerequisites for entering this program. So if you can kindly address the prerequisites, it will be good.
Okay. So let me see. So we have what I call as a test, online test, which examines your ability to understand basic Sanskrit words and their forms, and in a colloquial kind of a fashion. We have a preview of that test online, which is free. You can go to our website, which we can share later. So it has 3 levels of test. One is basic grammar, like whether you can understand singular, plural, nouns, verbs, the vibhaktis, those kinds of things, and your ability to use them in real sentences. That is the second level. And if you are listening to somebody talking in Sanskrit, how much of it can you make sense of? That is what we call as usage. So every one of them has some sample questions over here. Like for instance, you need to know Devanagari, that is the Hindi script. That is a prerequisite to be able to enter into this program, because most of our content discussion will be happening in that. And there are online methods to actually learn the script for those who want to do that. And there is we have some preparatory course, like a 2 to 3 month course, which you can go through to brush up your Sanskrit knowledge, to be able to take this test. You can try it once and then see where you are, and then based on that you can take it again. Like for instance, an example of a intermediate level usage test, usage question would be, like for instance, translate the following passage into Sanskrit. Okay, there will be an English passage and you will be asked to translate into Sanskrit. That is an intermediate level test. Advanced is not, we are not going to test you in the advanced level. It's only basic and intermediate. And in the basic, I'll just give you one example. Yeah, this is the intermediate. Basic should be somewhere. I'm not able to click it properly. Here. So you will be given a story, and then you will be asked questions on that story, and most of the answers will be multiple choice. Okay, so this is an example of a usage test of Sanskrit. And similarly, like you'll be asked to write a very short sentence, short phrases in your answer, things like that. And of course, you can all explore it independently later, this particular thing. And then various slightly complicated forms of past tense, future tense, transforming sentences, combining sentences. Most of the syllabus of this test that will be those that have been typically covered in a normal Samskrit Bharati Shibiram, the spoken Sanskrit Shibiram, and a couple of additional classes that that happen there. Like Sanskrit Bharati has these 4 levels of correspondence courses called Pravesha, Parichaya, Siksha, Kovida. And if you have passed, let's say, Pravesha and Parichaya, you'd be able to easily go through this stuff. Okay, there is pass through this test, provided you have some abhyas and practice of using it, or listening Shravana abhyas should be there to be able to pass this. Okay.
Okay, Sai, some more questions. Okay, I'm going to call out some questions. Okay.
Yeah.
When is the entrance exam going to be held? Entrance as in the proficiency test. What are the timelines? How will it be held? What are the logistics? How do we sign up? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I think you got to address some of these logistical, practical questions.
Yeah. Okay. So the Sanskrit proficiency test is available anytime. Even today you can go and do it. Okay. There is a small fee for it. It's online. You can pay the fee and then you'll be enrolled. And once you start the test, it's completely online at your own time and pace, at your own time. But pace, I think, is decided. I think it's about an hour and a half or so. If Dr. Vaishnavi can correct it. You will be given 2 chances to take the test. So that once you start the test, it will be closed after 1.5 hours each attempt. So you'll be given 2 attempts. And we'll take the best of the 2. And those 2 attempts can be separated by up to 2 months. That means you can take a test today, let's say, mid-February, mid-March, mid-April. By mid-April, you have to take the second attempt. Okay. And then based on the score, there is a basic score and an intermediate score. Total combined will be, you have to have 70%. You have to score 70%. Okay. The enrollment happens, you have to pay online, and then once you are given access to that, you can sit at a time place of your choosing and just do it.
Okay. Yes. So there is somebody asking, do you offer basic Sanskrit? Yes. HUA will be announcing a complete stream of basic, Sanskrit that is applicable for beginners very, very soon. Okay, so stay tuned on that. Okay, Vedic psychology is something that we have not yet integrated into the Hindu University of America curriculum. MIT is offering it in Pune, so it's something in the future. Okay, what is the cost of the course? Okay, so there is a cost of the course. So let me address that. Okay, so the in Hindu University of America, the cost of a credit hour, a single credit hour, is $300, and the cost of the for the Sanskritam program, however, we are discounting it by 50%. The cost per credit hour will be $150. So now, Saiji, you can speak about the number of credit hours that are required to complete the Sanskritam program. And I think it comes to, if I'm not mistaken, $7,200 total price for the whole master's program, which is about as cheap as you can get for a master's degree program. Master's, yeah.
Yes. So we have a total of 16 courses, 16 subjects or courses, 4 courses per semester times 4. Okay, and each course is a 3 credit hour course in the US calculation. So that is for at $150 per credit. Each course costs $450. And you multiply that by the 16, it comes to 7,200. So $3,600 per level. We divide the whole 2-year program into 2 levels, level 1 and level 2 certificate. And each level basically is 3,600. And if you opt for a kind of a 4-year stretch of the same program, that will be $1,800 per year. But whichever way you cut it, the overall cost is the same, basically.
Okay, Sai, you can continue with the presentation. Go to the next stage. We'll see if there are any more questions. So,
just I wanted to have. Can you hear me?
Can you please type the question in the chat window, please? Just type it.
Not able to send it.
Okay.
That's the reason why. Just I wanted to ask one single question. Professor Sai, you were talking about the PhD program in Shastras, that whichever you can just do it and do it at your own. And can you please enlighten on that? Suppose you see, if I hold 2 master's degrees and masters in science and masters in education and a doctoral research degree, and for a person like me with Sanskrit background, suppose if I have to do research, I'm PhD in Sanskrit from MIT or from, so can I do it on my own with the guidance from the MIT Pune or some other Sanskrit based? I got some foundation as language.
Yeah, okay. That's a slightly off topic for this particular thing. Shall I just give a quick answer, or Kalyanji, what do I do?
See, just quick answer. I mean, see, we're not supporting it. Go ahead, please. So maybe not.
Yeah. So the quick answer is our PhD Vedic Sciences requires you to have any master's degree plus take some special set of courses that are offered directly from MIT at this time, and then we'll have an entrance exam. Based on that, you will be entering into the PhD directly at MIT, not through HUA at this time. Okay. More details we can do later. We can discuss later.
Okay, Saiji, why don't you just continue with your presentation?
Yeah. So, actually, I'm pretty much done with.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So here's a question: how can students from Samskrita Bharati get integrated with the master's level program?
Yeah, so definitely those who have gone through the Sanskrit Bharati's training are uniquely positioned to be able to get into this program. So that's actually that was our prime target audience actually. But you are not required to pass all the 4 levels of the correspondence courses. There is no requirement like that. You can test your knowledge of Sanskrit, and that's the criterion. However you get it is up to you. So Sanskrit Bharati people will be very definitely very much equipped to do this.
Okay, there is a question here which says, can we listen to audios later on of the classes if we are unable to attend the classes because of work constraints, etc.?
Oh, yeah. Great. Okay. Yeah. So what I will do is I'll just show you how our. I wanted to kept it open. So 1 second. I'll just show an example of a course. Oops, sorry. Our e-learning platform. So every class basically will be recorded. It will be done through Zoom web conference where students can interact with the faculty, with the instructor live, and that every class is recorded in the cloud and uploaded so that you can watch it later. Okay, so and those recordings will be made available the following day or so after the class, so that you can actually go through them and and then any assignments, everything will be basically given like this. Like, so for instance, here is a class that we had recorded where the faculty was talking and then the slides were being presented like that. And then there will be interactions. So all the interactions among the students and the faculty, all the lecture, everything will be recorded as if it's a web conference. And those videos are available for offline viewing. Okay, so that's how we do it for the whole program. In some of the cases, in some of the courses, we will be doing a mixed mode wherein a live workshop recording of a class you'll be made to go through certain things, and then there will be live review classes and interaction classes every week to ensure interaction and learning. Okay, so that's only for very few of the courses, but most of the courses, they are all live classes. And typically the classes happen in the morning time, 6:30 to 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time, and night time in the US during the weekdays. So three classes per subject, so it means Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one subject, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, another subject in the night time US time. And let me just quickly show this. I forgot to show this. So this is the overall schedule of the various programs, various subjects. So if you take the entire full load, that means 4 courses per semester kind of a speed, then these are the courses that are offered.
Can you maximize the screen, please? Maximize the screen, please.
Yes. Yeah. 1 second. Yes. And then. Yeah. Is it better? Or should I make it even
much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So the year one, each semester is divided into 2 blocks: term 1, term A, and term B. July to September and September to November, like that. And then almost 2.5 months per course. And 2 courses will be running in parallel: Vyakarana 1 and Vedic Science Foundations in first block, Sahitya 1 and Introduction to the Veda in the second block, going in parallel. And at the end of every term, of course, inside each term, almost once every 2 weeks, you will have an assignment, online assignment, like a quiz or something like that, even some descriptive answers, etc. which need to be turned in within a week of being opened up. And at the end of the semester, that is about, let's say, December in the case of first semester, we will have a 1 week wherein we will give a full length 3-hour exam again online at your own time, and you decide when to start your test. And once you start the test, your time starts ticking, and you have to finish by within 3.5 hours typically. And the questions, you can type them in, you can write it up and scan it or whatever it is, that kind of stuff. So one final exam and a bunch of internal assessment quizzes.
So Sai, a quick question here. What are the minimum number of courses a person must take in one semester or 2 terms? Is it 2 or is it 1? Two. Minimum 2. Okay.
Minimum
good.
2.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the slowest paced model we offer, 4 years, wherein you can take 1 course at a time, which will be 4.5 hours of classes a week.
Plus, of course, there is self-study. Generally, there is a recommended number of hours of self-study that would likely be required every week to supplement the class time.
Correct.
Let me
comes to around 6 hours a week in the minimum.
Let me make a little digression. Saiji, can you relinquish your sharing? I want to share my screen for a moment. Okay, so here are a couple of testimonials I'd like to read you from the current batch of students. Okay, so here is a testimonial. I just completed the first semester of the MA Sanskrit program offered by Hindu University of America in partnership with MIT School of Vedic Sciences. It's offered in 2-, 3-, and 4-year options. I chose the 2-year program as I wanted to dedicate 2 years for focused study. I wondered how the timing would work, blah, blah, blah. A few hours of studying each class. What I managed to learn in the first semester is amazing. The Vyakaranam course not just introduced us to Ashtadhyayi, but enabled us to interpret the sutras by ourselves. The Vedic Science Foundation is unique. It gives a very scientific and structured perspective of our Shastras and Shastra Granthas. Okay, so that is one example. Here is another one. I've always been passionate about languages, how they work, how we use them to communicate and to represent knowledge. So fascinated with Sanskrit. This program combines the best of both worlds, a brilliant faculty, deeply trained in traditional Sanskrit knowledge systems, and learning methodology that's using the latest technology platforms. The faculty are extremely approachable and committed to fine-tuning the course to the extent possible. A wonderful peer group of students, passionate about the subject, and supportive of one another was an added blessing. Here's another one. Having completed the undergraduate level distance learning program provided by Samskrit Bharati, I was eager to enroll into a master's level program. The timing of the classes, assignments, availability of material, everything is well thought out by the faculty. So in other words, I just wanted to share with you a few testimonials that we've been collecting, which are uniformly extremely appreciative of the quality of the program. Back to you, Saiji. So here are some more questions. Is there provision of face-to-face? Well, this is the modern face-to-face.
Yes.
This is the contemporary face-to-face. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you have your video camera turned on, we are face-to-face, and it is wonderful. Can we get a preview of the proficiency test? Well, you just register and take the test. If you believe you can pass the test in your first attempt, go ahead and take it. I mean, I would encourage you to take it. Yeah, can you please share the testimonials? We'll see about that. The proficiency test, we are going to send a follow-up email to everybody who attended. So there are about, how many people attending? 68. There are at least 70. I counted 72 at the peak.
72, yes.
At the peak who are attending this particular webinar. There were more than 200 people who were actually registered for the webinar. We will send out a follow-up mail with detailed instructions on what to do next to take the proficiency test if you feel you're ready, or to prepare yourself for the proficiency test if you feel you need some brushing up of the Sanskrit that you had previously studied in school or at some other earlier time. When is this term starting next? Well, it starts in July, first week of July. For the folks who have passed the COVID exam, do you have to take the prerequisite test? Yeah, you have to take the proficiency test. Okay, how do you convert the certificates into a master's degree? Okay, so here there are two questions, two answers here. See, to get the master's degree offered by MIT Vedavyasa School of Vedic Sciences, which is accredited by the University Grants Commission of India, there are many constraints. Number one is you have to take the required set of courses, the mandatory set of courses. Number two is you have to take the exams in India, in Pune. Physically, you have to travel to India, to Pune, to the MIT campus. Sai, can you speak a little bit about the constraint, the physical exam constraint as far as the MIT is concerned?
Yeah. So the University MIT, the School of Vedic Sciences is a unit of this MIT Art Design Technology University, which is a state private autonomous university of in Maharashtra, and it was started just 3 years ago. It is UGC recognized and yet to be accredited as a in one of these what is called like central government's NAAC, National Accreditation Council or something like that. And until that accreditation happens, we are allowed to start the courses, run the courses, and we will be periodically checked for the quality of delivery and everything. But we are not allowed to run the programs, run exams and everything in distance mode outside the state of Maharashtra. That means the final exams in each semester must be taken during the regular schedule on campus. So it usually happens in 1 week, since we have 4 courses, up to 4 courses per semester. So you'll have to write those exams by physically visiting the campus and writing the exams. Okay,
so what that means, Saiji, so what that means is every 6 months, right? Every
December
6 months,
and May.
December and May, you will have to go to India and take the examination physically in the MIT University campus in Pune if you are interested in the degree that is offered by the Maharashtra Institute of Technology School of Vedic Sciences. Okay. However, if you don't particularly care for the degree offered by MIT and you're satisfied with the degree offered by Hindu University of America, okay, you can take the exam in distance mode right here. You don't have to go to India at all, and we can convert your certificate program into a master's degree. Okay, so that is the main distinction between the two. The second point is the MIT degree, MA, master's degree, is more restrictive in terms of required courses versus elective courses. HUA is the HUA master's degree is not as restrictive. It gives you more flexibility in terms of electives versus required courses. And then to convert the certificates, once you get the 2 certificates, to convert it to a master's degree offered by HUA, HUA will impose a requirement of a master's degree thesis on the students, which you will write in under the advisory of some of the eminent Sanskrit scholars who can support you in that process. Okay, so I hope that clarifies it. That's all we are going to say for now. If there are more questions on this, we'll pick it up in private. Yeah, Savitriji, what are the two certificates? Okay, so half the program, the master's degree program, is packaged into a certificate level 1, and the second half is packaged into a certificate level 2. So it is quite possible for someone to say, look, I am satisfied with certificate 1 and I'm going to end here. Or you may say, look, I want to continue and complete the certificate 2 and be positioned to earn the master's degree. So those are choices available to you. Okay, any other questions? Please type the question into the chat window, please, if you have any questions.
So now, to convert the certificates into a later accredited degree is something that it will be open only after we are
Accredited.
We are accredited, which will happen maybe in 2 more years' time at the most, because we have to do that. Yeah.
Okay, here is another question. How are the exams conducted in distance mode?
Okay. So, like I explained just a while ago, the exam is an online exam, like you saw, like the preview, like you saw here. But you can take, so we will designate a particular week during the same time as our other degree students also take the same exam. And during that week, we open the test for people, for the online mode people. And once you start the test, you can say, click the button and start the test. The time will start ticking, and 3.5 hours later, it will be stopped. Okay. In that period, you have to write your answers online using a computer. And then the answers will be recorded on the web. It's a web-based interface, and so you can choose what time you want to start your test during that week for those subjects.
Okay, here are a couple of questions. Can you take a break between level 1 and level 2 from a certificate standpoint? Yeah, absolutely. HUA is very flexible in terms of breaks and so on. In terms of longevity, you can earn the certificate in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years. Much more, HUA is much more flexible. Now, MIT is much more restrictive. Okay, so if you want to get the MIT degree, you got to follow all the rules of the MIT.
In India, a master's degree which lasts 2 years can only be stretched up to 3 years, not more than that.
Not so in the US. You see, in US you can start your master's degree, take a break, go to Europe, take a vacation, come back, start it again, stop again, and earn the degree in your own time. So we want to follow the US model of being as flexible as possible. Okay, preparatory Sanskrit. Can you talk about it? Actually, I'm going to say this. We're going to have a 1-hour webinar just like this one on the preparatory Sanskrit curriculum, where we'll go through the curriculum in much more detail. And for those of you who are relatively in the beginning stages of learning Sanskritam, that you cannot, for example, if we give you a passage in English and say translate it into Sanskrit, and you feel that you're not ready for that, I think it will be very worthwhile for you to go through the preparatory Sanskrit webinar, which will be announcing very, very soon. Okay, next question. Do we have to type the answers on the computer? Yes, you do. That means we have to be well versed in typing in Devanagari script. Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll teach you how to do that, or you can also write the answers on a piece of paper and upload the picture. Yeah.
So the costs of the preparatory program we will announce in the webinar that we're going to launch. We are still working on the details of that. We'll just get it out very, very soon. College 529 plan dollars. Gopal is asking to pay for these courses if enrolled through HUA. Now, the answer to that is, see, Hindu University of America itself is working on getting accredited. by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools and by the Distance Education Accreditation Commission. So you had to check whether these College 529 plan dollars are eligible to be applied for a university that is yet to be accredited. So that's a question you have to find out. When is the semester starting in 2020? We're going to start in July, the first week of July, right, Sajid?
Yes.
Yeah. So the proficiency test must be completed and finished sometime between now and month of June. And because it is online, there is no schedule. You can take the test whenever you feel you are ready to take the test. If you want to take the next 1 month, brushing up your Sanskrit, doing some self-study, and then take the test just to see how you do. Yeah, very good. Please, we strongly encourage you to do that.
Right. And just one point that I wanted to clarify is that, see, we have a bunch of mandatory courses and we have a bunch of elective courses. The mandatory courses are anyway offered, any course is only offered once in a year, one time in a year. And if you skip that for some reason, then you'll have to wait until whenever it is offered next, which is the following year, the same time. Okay. Now, the elective courses are by definition, by choice. That means we need, in order to offer an elective, we need a minimum of 5 people who have enrolled in that course in that particular semester to be able to run that course that semester. If we do not have the minimum number of enrollments, suppose we offer some weird elective and not many people are interested in that, we will offer it when enough people get accumulated to do that. Okay. So that's why that is the reason why we are not offering too many electives, because that will unnecessarily fragment the batch into very, very small pieces. Okay, we are offering currently yoga, Ayurveda, Vedanta for sure, and Jyotisha based on the number of enrollments.
All right. So, here's an interesting question. Since HUA is not accredited, is my degree worth anything? Okay, I think that's an important question. I'm going to address that. Okay. See, HUA is working on getting accredited, and we are going to launch our entire accreditation application this year. And once HUA is accredited, all your degrees and degrees primarily will get retroactively accredited. Meaning you should not be so worried that HUA is not accredited at the moment, because it will. And once it gets accredited, it's just as good as you took the degree when it is already accredited. Okay, can we get a sample of a proficiency test for preparation? How about we ask that to Vaishnaviji? Can we get a sample?
It's available right now.
It's available.
Oh, great. Okay.
That is the one I just showed online.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Very good. There you go.
Send the link.
We will send out links, okay, right after this, very soon, right after this webinar. Yeah. Okay, I want to mark that we are past the hour, and we've spent a whole hour here, and we can take a couple more questions, but I think we should wrap up. So
just one answer to the one question about the proficiency test, the cost of the proficiency test, it's $25, I think, roughly.
Yeah,
you have to check.
Good. Very good. Excellent. Any final questions? Okay. Well, let me make one comment. Mode of payment is all online. Everything will be handled online. Nowadays, online is king now. Now, first of all, I want to thank you all for participating. The response to this webinar has been quite encouraging for all of us. More than 200 people registered for the webinar, and it looks like about 70 odd were able to join. We are recording the webinar, and you can request a recording, and you can revisit the webinar if you feel like you missed a part of it. You can also share the webinar with people who may be interested who couldn't attend the webinar. So, we are very, very eager that you take a keen look at this program and come on board. I think it's going to be a fantastic journey for those of you who are courageous enough to step into this program. With that, once again, thank you all very, very much for your interest and time. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.